I'm sitting here with Aleksandra, who's been a part of the Redbeard team for almost a year now, doing awesome work with somatic experiencing and other related somatic modalities. And I thought it would be fun to have a conversation with you, Aleksandra, just to hear a little bit about what brought you to somatic work in general, and then to talk about somatic experiencing as a modality. So thanks for being here today.
Nice being with you. Thank you.
Yeah.
I was a lifelong searcher. I think it started with yoga. I was in elementary school, found books on yoga, and started practicing by myself
Hmm.
and discovered some mysterious other practices from Egypt that were involving the use of energy and things that regular people didn't know anything about. I was very attracted to that.
Hmm.
And then I think I was 18 or 19, I took a yoga teacher training. It was fascinating. Then I ended up studying clinical psychology. And while in graduate school, um, I studied Buddhism, shiatsu, Chinese medicine, meditation. And
Hmm.
I grew up in Eastern Europe, in Poland, where all of those things, there was no access in the 80s. Those things were very obscure, and uh, most people had no idea about them. So,
Right.
um, and when I studied psychology, I found that meditation, breathing practices, adding a little bit of movement was changing a lot. My
Hmm.
clients were having very different experiences than from just talking about problems and analyzing
Hmm.
past traumas. So then in 1995, I came to the United States to study with Arnold Mandel, professor in psychology, which is Jungian shamanic Taoist psychology. And it's like entering your unconscious mind and dream states while awake
Hmm.
and in relationships with other people. So that's all of that was rich and exciting and fascinating. And then I studied a few other systems of body work. And then one day, when I was on a retreat, uh, somebody introduced me, somebody offered an exchange of sessions,
Hmm.
and it was a somatic experiencing, a little session. And it was so different than my other experiences. Like, she was helping me find really comfortable position, in which I didn't have to have straight spine like meditation. Just
Right.
easy, noticing softness of my clothes and things that were friendly in the environment. And there was something about it different than the disciplines that I studied before. That was
Hmm.
so much at ease and showed me a very different way of the possibility of living differently,
Hmm.
not in a structured way, but finding what my body was being most comfortable with.
Hmm.
So after that experience, I started looking for a training, and few years later, in my city in Tucson, where I live, the training
Yeah.
was happening. So I signed up immediately.
What's been your experience? I mean, I know that somatic experiencing is probably one of several modalities that you include, but when you think about somatic experiencing, what are some of the things it's really good for with your, or when do you really use SE as the approach? What kinds of situations?
Well, definitely with people who experience a lot of stress in their lives, who have hard time relaxing in their body, relaxing into their experiences, people
Mhm.
with anxiety, depression, a lot of stressful thoughts, people who feel very overwhelmed by sometimes even simple life experiences,
Mhm.
people who don't trust themselves and their experiences, don't
Mhm.
trust their judgments and choices,
Mhm.
people who struggle with addictions, with health issues, long-term health issues, often
Mhm.
uh, somatic experiencing can be incredibly helpful.
Yeah, it just I was thinking about that because what's interesting about somatic experiencing is, yeah, we can use it for sort of the mental health side, anxiety and depression and working with our emotions and grief and loss and things like that. But it has a role with sort of physical health conditions of some kinds, chronic pain of some kinds. Could you speak a little bit to how it can help those sort of chronic health or pain kinds of situations?
Sure. As most people know, stress is one of the main factors contributing to health problems.
Uh,
The production of cortisol and adrenaline and other stress hormones definitely acidifies our body, impairs our organs. They cannot function as proficiently as when we are relaxed.
mm,
Our breath becomes more shallow or tense.
mm,
So just bringing the nervous system to a more regulated state optimize optimizes function of every cell in the body, taking the body from the fight, flight, freeze, and other self-protective states, allows the rest and digest and regeneration, lowers the allostatic load, the effort that body puts into daily functioning,
mm.
and the body not having to spend as much energy on defending itself from the stressors that could be, from long time ago, but still active
Mm.
in present time. All that energy can be used into healing and regeneration.
Yeah, great. Are there any SE sort of like techniques or like some of the theory behind SE? Any of the parts of SE that you really like, or ones that you resonate with that you'd want to just explain a little bit about for a moment?
One of them, the basic, probably the easiest to practice, is orientation, being present in the environment that we are and looking for whatever seems safe or allows us to settle in. So arriving into the present moment. When we are in the present moment, experiencing what is in present moment, we are not worrying about the past or future, and the body can settle into ease and relaxation. That's one of the
Yeah,
most. I like titration. I like going slowly and breaking down overwhelming experiences into bite sizes that the body can metabolize
right.
and integrate. I like the principle of pendulation, moving attention from something very stressful, challenging into something that is resourcing, relaxing, whether it's internally or externally present,
Right.
and then moving or from pleasure to pain when we're experiencing, let's say, pain in the shoulder, finding a place in the body that feels comfortable, relaxed, at ease. So
Right.
just moving the attention to place of ease often allows the body to start releasing tension in the place that is painful.
When you have a new client and you or somebody who you might use somatic experiencing with, well, how do you explain it to them? How do you explain what it is or how it works?
I talk about retraining the nervous system from the habitual patterns of looking for what might go wrong, what's sources of stress, which we are wired to for self-defense. We are wired to notice any dangers.
Right.
To in somatic experiencing, we are learning that we are training our nervous system to actually search for what feels good, what calms us down.
Mm.
We are learning how to discover all of the different hidden layers of tension and stress in the body, and then resource ourselves to allow them to dissolve and return to the state of being settled, regulated,
Mm.
calm, relaxed.
Anything else that you want to add about what you like about SE or anything we haven't covered yet.
So my clients often say that they've had a lot of therapy and they didn't like it because it was all about remembering past experiences when they didn't feel good.
Right.
And most of SE sessions, most of the time in SE sessions, we spend feeling good and better and better. We tap into something that might be uncomfortable, and then we research our system.
That's one of the things I value most about somatic experiencing also is that we spend more time working towards resource and regulation. And sometimes I have clients who say, oh, well, then how are we going to resolve these difficult things or these things from the past? And I always say, well, it's kind of amazing, but the more that we can kind of build up our capacity and resource, and just like you said, then as we dip into some of those experiences and we learn how to dip in, but then come back into safety and regulation, it's just amazing how the difficulty of those experiences can really change and dissipate without there having to be a really painful investigation or re-experiencing of what the challenges were.
Right. So when we are reminding our system of its capacity,
Right.
then it approaches the challenging experiences with more ease and just the inner intelligence of knowing
Mm,
that it can handle a lot
mm,
much more easily than when we are in the place of feeling stressed and limited,
right.
being stressed and limited.
Yeah. Great. Okay. Anything else that you think we should cover?
I think that another important element, really, which is not exclusive to SE, but in SE, as practitioners, we really pay attention to our nervous systems to be regulated uh, in comfortable state. And we
Mhm.
vibrate that to our client.
Right.
So as practitioners, we resource ourselves during sessions
Sure.
and the clients can co-regulate. Their nervous system can ping against from off of our nervous system. And just even if we wouldn't do anything, just sitting with a nervous system that is relaxed,
Mm,
it's relaxing in its
right.
own. Teaching our nervous system, reminding our nervous systems that it's okay to be at ease, that
Mm,
we don't need to be always in a go, 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 do mode.
mm,
And we accomplish actually more. We have a sense of time expanding when we are regulated, settled. Everything becomes easier than under pressure.